So let's have a look at how to optimize your book page. Now, Apple have actually put out a worksheet or an article that actually says this is how we kind of like your book page to be set out. So in some ways, it's really good because they've actually said their expectations, and it's so much easier to know when the store actually says this is what we would prefer to see. So basically, your first paragraph is 1 to 2 sentences, which includes your key phrase, your trope, and your author name. Now, bearing in mind that Apple is very much keyword based and category based. So what that means is that you need to decide what is the keyword or the key phrase that you want your book to sit under, and what is the category that goes along with that. Because what you're going to be doing is using that key phrase within your book page up to 5, maybe 6 times. And what that does is that helps with your searchability on Apple itself. So you're going to decide on what your key phrase is, and it does need to match the category that you're in. So for example, if you're writing fantasy and you choose the fantasy category, but your keyword phrase is science fiction romance, they don't go together. And that is a bit of an off-putting scenario. So it's probably likely that your books aren't going to be shown in Apple. So keep in mind that the keyword needs to match, the category. Don't put 2 disparate things thinking that you're going to kind of, double up your searchability and your SEO. It's not going to work. It needs to make sense, those 2 things. So your second paragraph is then going to be like a comparison to other books, could be to TV shows or movies. What you're doing here is setting the scene for what can your readers expect. So you imagine you're a new reader, you're coming along, you're reading the book page and you're going, well, what kind of book is this? Where does it sit? Is it, say, a nice, cozy kind of whodunit? Or is it something along the lines of, John Wick? 2 very, very, very different experiences. And by just popping in there some of the most popular either books in that area or TV shows on that, you're going to be able to tap into that so that people understand what your book is and go, okay, they know where to put it. And once you kind of remove that barrier, that's a step closer they are to then purchasing your book and giving it a go. Your third paragraph is then things like other author recommendations. You could put in there a couple of your best reviews, just like 1 lines from reviews from somewhere. If you have credible reviews from somewhere else, you could add those in there as well. Your 4th and onwards paragraph is then your blurb itself. So this is typically what you put on the other bookstores and you share, or say on your website, places like that, you would have just the blurb itself. So that could be a couple of paragraphs, depending. You then want to close it out with a closing paragraph, and that really is just a bit of a summary. I've included here a summary that we're testing at the moment for S.E. Smith, who writes science fiction romance, other stories. So once again, we're just kind of finishing off by saying to the prospective reader, this is what you can expect. So, internationally acclaimed S.E. Smith presents a new action-packed story full of romance and adventure, bringing with her signature humor, vivid scenes, and beloved characters. This book is sure to be another fan favorite. So once again, we're just reiterating what it is that we are wanting the reader to understand that they're going to get in this book. So for everybody, this is something that you can do whether you're direct or whether you're through a distributor. So you can set up your page content in this way. And I'm actually seeing a lot of this setup actually being carried over into a lot of the other bookstores. So rather than, say, creating something that is unique in this way to Apple, you can actually, just set it up once for Apple, but then use it in the other stores. Now, I did touch on this before, and that is the sample. Do have a sample. If you can have it ready for pre-order, definitely include it then. But definitely by the time it comes to release, you need to have your sample up there. It does have an impact on the gravity that Apple Books gives your book page and how much it can be seen. So include a sample, definitely. Now, 2 things that we know about reviews from credible sources. There is a place in the book page where Apple, we can't do it, only Apple can, where they will insert reviews from credible sources. Now, two of those that they actually mention in the content is Apple Book Review itself and Publishers Weekly Review. Now, you can, as a self-published author, apply to Publishers Weekly Review. It is a paid review. Just keep that in mind. There is a free option, but you don't necessarily, chances are everybody's kind of going for the free option, so you may get drowned out, but there is a paid option, which guarantees you a review. That review can then be put into this special section that they have for credible or, reader reviews. So that's another thing that you can do to just really maximize or optimize your book page. So for all the things that I've just gone through with your book page, I just want you to have a think about what is one or two things that you can pull out of that you may not already be doing in Apple that you can do with your books that are there. So, are you including a sample? If not, make sure you put a sample in there. Are you doing the screenshots? If not, put some screenshots in, use art, those sorts of things. Change up the way that the book description is written in the format that Apple suggests. So just in this point alone, there's a few things that you may need to go and do if you're not already doing them.
Dive into one of our courses today and transform your writing dreams into reality. Whether it's mastering marketing, understanding the business of being an author, or the mindset that you need to stay strong and resilient, we've got your back.